What's going on, you guys? Theo here with the big review, back yet again with another King of Fighters All-Star video, and it is the day before the Boss Syndrome Volume 3 release, so guess what? We have maintenance notices to talk about, so we are going to be breaking down the maintenance and update notices in today's video because there is so much going into this end of June update. As we had predicted, it is going to be a very hefty update indeed, so we're going to go ahead and walk you guys through all of the different updates that will be coming our way after this maintenance. But before we do all that, make sure you guys smash that like button and subscribe, and if you haven't noticed, we do have a $25 Google Play or iOS gift card giveaway currently going on. If you would like to know how you can get your hands on that gift card, make sure you check out the link in the description, and I will have all the details in there. But without further ado, you guys, let's go ahead and get into the update notice and talk about what there is to know about tomorrow's end of June update. Now, quick disclaimer, you guys, there is a lot more information over on the Japanese and Korean side of the forums, so I am going to have a link to the Japanese forum in the description if you want to check out some better, higher resolution photos of some of this content, as well as get some translations for a little bit of additional information on that stuff, but I will be referencing quite a bit from there as we go through here, so kind of keep that in mind. So as you can see here, this is going to be the CM Yuri update over on the English forums, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to break this down, and then we will talk about some of these events more in depth. So the first thing here is, of course, the main event, and that is going to be the Boss Syndrome Volume 3 content, and as you guys can see, these are going to be the typings for our two newest Boss Syndrome characters. So leading off here, we have BS Ignis, who is going to be a blue balance type, and then we have the BS version of Original Zero as a purple attack type. I don't think you guys need me to tell you which one of these two characters wins out as far as typing is concerned, with BS Original Zero having that awesome attack typing on a purple element character that is going to be very, very powerful going forward, and it does not do anything to change the fact that I think most people are looking forward to Original Zero over Ignis at this point, especially if you take a look at that poll I put over on my community tab. It would seem as though most of you guys are in it for Zero, so good luck to all of you on your summons. I hope you get him. Now, as far as BS Ignis being a blue balance type, that's not necessarily going to mean a whole lot. Boss Syndrome characters, for the most part, are going to be so powerful that really their typings don't really matter all that much. However, they do matter in the capacity that it does make them a little bit more difficult to fit into team compositions. However, with Boss Syndrome characters nowadays, being the fact that most of the time you are going to be using a leader that is going to be buffing Boss Syndrome characters or boss type characters anyway, it really doesn't make as big of a difference. However, it will affect his ability to slot in with specific team comps, especially for those of you who are hoping to use perhaps a Nightmare Geese as his leader. That will not be something you can do. However, you will be able to do that with Zero, so pretty interesting stuff. We're going to have to wait and see how the kits look tomorrow, but overall, as far as on the surface, kind of just with the typing, Zero is going to be the better of the two for the typing at least. So that is what we know about the characters, and if you guys want to see higher resolution photos of all of this stuff, again, check out the Japanese forum and you will be able to see a whole lot better photos for these characters. Now, when it comes to battle cards, we already knew that these were going to be the battle card arts, but man, that art is pretty. Again, the Japanese side of the forums has higher resolution versions of all of this stuff, and they look great. So these are going to be all of your different cards. We now pretty much know what the names of them are, but that's pretty much all we get that is going to be updated information for these. So the set card is going to be the Nests Behind the Veil set, and then when it comes to the option card, we have the New World Order, and then we have the new 3PG cards. And we do have confirmation these 3PG cards can be used on the existing versions of Ignis and Original Zero, so keep that in mind, and no, we do not have any information on what the option or the set card does as of yet. So that is going to be your cards. Next up here, this is just telling us about the updated pickup summon, and as you guys can see, we are going to have this Boss Syndrome content until 7/19, so about 10 days or so, a little bit less than that before the next event, which will be the anniversary. So we are going to have this content for quite a while, so we will have plenty of time to try and pull for these characters and these cards. So next up we get into events, and this is where we have a lot of stuff to break down. So we are going to be getting new Boss Syndrome Volume 3 imprint stones. They have confirmed that we will be able to obtain these by awakening these characters, same as usual, and you will also be able to get the Elite Enhancement Hammers and the 1000 rubies for awakening them all the way up to awakening level 5. So that's pretty much what we need to know for this stuff. We are also going to be getting Moon and Star imprint stones. Those are going to be getting added. So as we had kind of predicted, whenever they took away Rite of Passage and replaced it with Chapter of Fight and changed over to the new Salvage imprint stone system, we are also going to be getting the Moon and Star imprint stones added in. This is going to mean that we are going to have 2 new slots for our characters. You can start using these imprint stones starting at awakening levels 25 and 30 respectively, and we will break all of this down in depth tomorrow. But for all the information that you need to know in today's video, this stuff will be added in with this latest update. And if you guys want a very detailed breakdown of how this is going to work, albeit it will be Google translated, so you are going to have to take some of it with a pinch of salt and kind of try to translate a little bit of it yourself. But there is a lot more information, again, on the Japanese and Korean side of the forums. However, the TLDR of what you are looking at here is basically, as you can see here, we are going to have a new salvage button added into our imprint stone menu, and basically we can go ahead and trade in our different imprint stones, and whenever we do that, we are going to be able to get these different items in order to craft the new Moon and Star imprint stones, which will be available for our characters to use starting at levels 25 and 30 respectively. You can also, from the sounds of it, potentially get the actual stones themselves as well through this system. So that is what we are looking at there. We're going to do a better breakdown of all of this stuff in tomorrow's video, but for now, that is kind of the long and the short of what you need to know about this new system. And other things that we can kind of glean from this is the fact that, being that they did not confirm that there are going to be any exclusive versions of these stones for these Boss Syndrome characters, we can pretty much assume that there will not be any exclusive versions of these stones for these characters going forward, which was a question and a concern that we had all had going into this. So it's nice to know that we have confirmation that that will not be the case, at least for this go around, and presumably for any future SS characters as well. So this is good stuff, you guys. We will be getting this new system tomorrow, and we'll talk about it more then and over the course of the coming weeks. But very nice to have confirmation on some of this stuff. Now, next up, we are going to talk about the Chapter of Fight, because this is going to be a system that we had assumed would be available with the end of June update. However, we did not have confirmation. We were basically just kind of putting 2 and 2 together, considering the fact that Rite of Passage we knew was getting replaced by Chapter of Fight, and with that going away, we had kind of assumed that this was going to happen, but we also knew that we were going to have the chance to get some of the items needed to craft these new stones with the Chapter of Fight. So that was kind of another reasoning behind us assuming that this was going to be coming out today, or at least tomorrow with the maintenance, and here we are with an update letting us know that that is going to be the case. So hey, that Saturday chat and chill we did where we were trying to come up with a roadmap for the updates up through the anniversary has pretty much been 100% accurate at this point, so good job us. Now, they do give us quite a bit of information on how the Chapter of Fight is going to be working. However, I'm not going to go through all of this in today's video, being that tomorrow we're going to be doing a hands-on with this, so I'll just go ahead and let you guys read through this on your own time. We've already known some of this stuff, but the one big thing I would mention here is that the seasons for these are going to be sticking around for quite a while. You'll notice that the Chapter of Fight Season 1 runs until 7/28 at reset, so you have plenty of time to get through this. So this is something that looks very interesting. Again, we'll talk about it more in depth tomorrow, but I am very excited for this, even if it is seeming as though it is going to be a lot more asimilar to Rite of Passage than we might have thought, just based on what they've got written here. But then again, it's tough to tell exactly what they're trying to convey to us in a lot of this stuff, so that might not be the case. We'll just have to wait and see. Now, of course, speaking of Rite of Passage, it is going away, so keep that in mind. This will be the last days that you can run Rite of Passage. However, do also keep in mind that the exchange shop will be staying open until the end of July, so you have plenty of time to exchange your currency for whatever items that you would like to use it on, but the Rite of Passage itself will be going away. Now, moving on here, we are going to be getting a bunch of miscellaneous things that we'll break down more in depth here momentarily, but if you guys want a handy checklist, we are going to be getting a Nest's Rush Dungeon, we are going to be getting a Nest's Login Streak, we'll be getting a new mini dungeon, which is going to be the Catch the Child Thief, we're going to be getting a new roulette, featuring Athena in Wonderland, and then we are also going to be getting a new Battle Card Carnival event, a new Boss Syndrome Celebration event, and the Chapter of Fight Celebration event. So that is what we know about all of this stuff here. We'll break that down further and get into more details momentarily. We also have screenshots of a lot of this stuff that is not available on the English side, thanks yet again to the Japanese side of the forum that I will show you guys momentarily. And then it gets into the packages, and of course the packages are pretty much going to be asimilar to what we have come to expect with these types of limited banner updates, so not a whole lot to talk about here. We'll break all these down in depth in tomorrow's breakdown video, but that is pretty much what there is to know there. And then they get into some new system improvements and bug fixes, which the one that stood out to me was going to be the final bug fix here, which is fixed an issue where the option skill would not activate when the option card Successor of Flames Kyo is equipped. Yeah, this pretty much confirms that that exclusive option card for Kyo that everybody had kind of been wanting to try and test out on SS Kyo around his release, yeah, that has been bugged. So, yeah, I guess inconclusive evidence as to how good that card is on SS Kyo until tomorrow whenever the bug gets fixed. That's pretty interesting. I did not know that that was bugged, but good to know. So that is pretty much what we need to know about this first update here. Now, we're going to talk about some of these miscellaneous events more in depth, but yeah guys, that is what information we have currently available. Again, biggest thing being we now know the typings of both of our newest BS characters, so good stuff. Now let's go ahead and talk about what there is to know about some of these other updates with these in-game event notices, because there's quite a bit in here to talk about, and some of it is going to be more interesting and better than others, but I just wanted to go ahead and run you guys through what this stuff is going to entail. Now, first up here, we do have a new Rush Dungeon event for the limited banner, as we have with any of these limited banner events. So we are going to have a 3-tiered Rush Dungeon as per usual, with some really nice art as usual yet again. Now, of course, the same rules apply for this Rush Dungeon as always. My recommendation is don't worry about having to grind on this thing or farm this thing until you can open up the final chapter, at which point you can start using your AP to start grinding through this to get those coins for the exchange shop. We don't have any confirmation on what will be available in that exchange shop just yet, but that is what we know about the Rush Dungeon. Pretty much standard fare there. Now, we are also going to be getting a login streak, and this is going to be what we have available to us on that login mileage. So it's going to start off there with some gold and the end with some rare enhancement hammers, but none of this is anything too crazy, and honestly, it isn't anything that important that we need to spend too much time on. Now, next up here, we do have a new mini dungeon. This is going to be the Catch the Little Thief. So I'm going to go ahead and post this photo here so you guys can see what you're looking at as far as this is concerned. But basically, we are going to be able to defeat the little thief when we fill the gauge, and the fever mode will start once the gauge is full. You defeat the treasure cat during the fever mode to get AP plus capsules ×1 and a mystery box. So nothing too crazy that we're going to be getting here as far as rewards. It's just going to be something that we can do daily and add to our homework, and that's pretty much it. Now, we are going to be getting a new roulette. Unfortunately, this is not going to be a new Fess roulette. Instead, it is going to feature the Athena in Wonderland, which is a character that we have seen featured on the roulettes in the past. So this one is going to be a little less interesting than some of the ones we've had recently, but it is still something that is welcome that you can go ahead and grind on. If you're somebody that is new to the game and do not have Athena in Wonderland, she is actually a really decent gold border character, so something that you can go ahead and do and get yourself a pretty decent little character that'll carry you through some early in-game content, but nothing too crazy here as far as this is concerned. And then if we scroll down here, we also have a carnival event, and this is where I need to talk a little bit about what is going on here. So this carnival, this is going to be based on what appears to be summoning cards, and I'm not happy about this. This sucks. This really sucks. This is not a good carnival. People hate when they do card carnivals for a reason, mainly because cards are something that typically you are trying to pull less on, or you're at least trying to minimize how much you are going to be pulling on these card banners in lieu of the characters, because you would prefer to be pulling on the characters and using your rubies there. That, and most people don't have a ton of tokens laying around for the card banner, for the unified card banner, because typically you're using your purple dust on the characters. So this is really unfortunate that this is going to be a card carnival, but you will see that it does include a generic BS memory, which means that we're going to have to find a way to get through it in order to get that. It really just is unfortunate that they are making it a card carnival and not just a fighter summon carnival, but it is what it is. Hopefully you guys have a lot of different things saved up for your cards so that you can pull some extra ones for free, so that you can get some credit towards this mileage. But it is, again, kind of crappy that they went this route as opposed to the way they've done it in the past, but we'll have to wait and see how it all pans out. So that is pretty much what we know about that. Then it gets into the Chapter of Fight event mission, which really it's looking like that we're going to be able to play Chapter of Fight one time and get 2 rare enhancement hammers, which again really isn't a whole lot, but I guess it's better than nothing. And then finally down here, it is going to talk about the celebration event mission for these Boss Syndrome characters, which is really just the fancy term for the way that you're going to be able to awaken these characters and unlock their different imprint stones, as well as the aforementioned elite enhancement hammers and the 1000 rubies. And as you can see, we are going to be able to get these stones for each of these characters for awakening them, as well as some of these other rewards. And that is pretty much what we need to know. Other miscellaneous things that they did post today is they did go ahead and put out a new updated list of people that were misbehaving and being banned or suspended for doing things that they shouldn't. So that's something. And otherwise, the only other thing to take away from all these updates is the fact that no, we will not be getting any sort of reruns of previous Boss Syndrome content. This is only going to be focused on Boss Syndrome Volume 3 content. And that is what we know, guys. So that is pretty much all you guys need to know about these new update notices. I will be back in tomorrow's video with plenty of information for all of you to go over, because I'm going to be up at probably 3:30 in the morning trying to break all this stuff down and bringing you guys 2 videos tomorrow. I'm going to bring you an update breakdown with all the various in-game updates, and then I'm going to do a separate video on should you summon for the Boss Syndrome fighters themselves and the new cards. And then I'm also going to be doing the YouTuber Summoning Battle live stream with Gunny over on his channel at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow. Link will be in the description to his channel, but I did go ahead and post on my community tab all that information if you guys are interested. If you want to stop by and say hi to us and watch us spend our 10,000 free rubies and try and see if we can get lucky on stream, then you can go ahead and do that tomorrow as well. So yeah, busy day for me tomorrow, you guys, but I'm going to go ahead and get to work on some of the stuff I need to do in the background to be prepared for that. But until then, like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Continue.